Okay, ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
When you do that, I just leave it like that.
Okay.
Just letting you know.
Yo, you know what else? You know what I decided? I've called an audible.
Decide?
I've called an audible.
Okay, I'm ready.
I'm going to retell the entire orally Love Me Tender Justine Bateman, Jason Bateman, Chris Shula story.
Okay, and to the 3 listeners who are left today, no, I'm just kidding. I'm not allowing you to do that today. But today I'm going to take you down on a little bit of a path with me today. I have a few things that I need to take you down.
Okay, well, first we have to tell people what we're doing here. We're here in a Saturday because we're both on the road tomorrow.
Exactly.
So I could do something like maybe I'll do something for the Patreon folks when I get to the hotel.
Well, we'll still do our extra little Patreon show today, right?
Are we?
Yeah.
It's just a lot of work on that Saturday. I'm trying to get drunk here. No,
sorry about that.
Speaking of that, Morgan is there with
Coors Light.
Coors Light. It's a serviceable drink, lawnmower beer. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. More carbs than we have, though.
Yeah, we haven't had beer in months.
Yeah.
8 beer in months. Oh my God! It actually scares the hell out of me to think about that. But although my boys have basketball in the morning, and I don't want to sit in the gym hungover with the horn, I understand. Between this and turning the clocks back, I'm all screwed up. Did we turn the clocks back?
That's this weekend, yeah.
Yeah.
So it means we get an extra hour of sleep tonight. That's exciting.
Oh, good. I'm looking forward to that. So the only thing I really want to share, and we can start with your thing if you want, is I have
a couple things, but yeah, go ahead.
I have a few Kari Lake cuts. I was listening to the what you just heard is the Barry Weiss podcast called Honestly.
Mm-hmm.
She had a few people on like Mary Catherine Ham, Crush Hour, the other lady who's at Newsweek who I talked to in the air.
Okay.
It's funny because you never hear about Mary Catherine Ham anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Ever. And she's still writing stuff, and she's still she's on CNN.
Yeah.
So she's out there, but I know why you don't hear from her.
Mm-hmm.
It's because she's not an a-hole. She never says anything. She's nice to everybody. She never says anything that's going to get her in hot water or anything, you know?
Mm-hmm.
So, if she did that on Fox, she'd just be Republicans, conservatives would know her. I don't think she embraced Trump all that much, so that was the end of her over there, but we love her. I like her. Remember? We like her, right?
Yep. I like her.
All right, so all I have want to get to, no beer in months. Ouch. Yeah, you're right, Tommy. I know, man. I know, especially
doing yard work.
Yeah. And I've been looking at...
I thought of that when you called it a lawnmower beer because I was like, that's Tom missing he was out doing he was out doing yard
Morgan's
work
having
today.
a few beers, but he doesn't want to be hungover in the morning. So, I don't really get that. Like, other than
you don't really get hungover though,
right? But
99.9% of the time.
But what I'm saying is like, unless you're just really jonesing for the taste of a beer or two. I mean, I like getting a buzz. So, like,
he wants to have a beer while he watches the burn barrel.
No, I'm defending.
He wasn't going to drink, but
him.
when he saw we were live streaming, he went out especially. Thomas Welling wants to know if Mary Catherine Ham ever babysat for anyone you know.
No, although I have met her in person, and I cornered her one time. This is not in a stocky kind of way. Boston Herald Radio was in New Hampshire. And I stopped her and I said, Mary Catherine, hi, it's Tom Shattuck for the Boston Herald. I just didn't want you to know my wife and I love you because we had a very Mary Catherine Ham period where we really loved her.
Yeah, she's great.
She was great. Her husband died tragically young, and she was raising kids alone, and then she's been remarried. She's got a great story, and she's just a positive. Everybody loves her. I said, hey, we love you. Can you come down and join us here? She was on the CNN panel, whatever. I said, can you come down and join us? Here on the air and just give us 10 minutes or whatever. And she said, oh, yeah, oh, hi, that's so nice, that's such kind words. She said, you're at the Boston Herald table? And I said, yeah. She said, okay, I'm just going to go up to my room for a little bit and then come down and I'll pop by and see you guys. And she never did. That's my story from Mary Catherine Ham. So I'm going to play my Kari Lake cuts, okay?
Okay, go for it.
I am sad that I have my...
Give me your
Napoleon shirt, which is a great shirt. It really is. By the way, I found my little Jerry Callahan shirt. We got to push these shirts. These shirts are great. I mean, I don't know if the quality is good. I mean, they're made by slaves somewhere, so who knows?
They're just normal shirts. They're like Fruit of the Loom or something like
are
normal. They're I forget. I
But-
could
but-
have the brand wrong,
but
but
they
it's
look
like a
good.
normal brand that like they're printed in the United States.
Land American hamster. Was I done with her? Was I done?
Yes, you're done. Keep going. You're gonna play You're gonna.
Okay.
We're pushing shirts at burnbarrelpodcast.com. There's a shop link. You
Oh
can
yeah,
buy
what
shirts.
I had my
And-
Kirk Minahan shirt on today.
Yes, you fit into your KMS shirt now, thanks to our friends at Awaken 180.
Yeah. Absolutely, Alice. Don't. Only one of us should be the blatant whore in this.
I'm
relationship.
making fun of you.
Okay. Okay.
That's sarcastic.
Okay.
But I do love Awaken 180, and I do love KMS and your shirt, and you look lovely in it.
You
which
do
is-
love KMS now, although since the white hot spotlight was on you, now you're still living off the embers of the high that you had for 10 days. Alice has now started listening to the Kirk Minahan podcast show starting year 1, episode 1. She's now on like episode 6.
I
So
think I'm a little further than
those
that
of you who
now, but
listen
yeah.
to Kirk, that's when Steve first started the show, right before he went on his honeymoon.
Yeah, he's not quite on
And-
his honeymoon yet.
And then when Dave filled in, was the funniest string of shows that I had ever dealt with. And there was one time when I was with you and my brother, where there's a character named Little Alex Jones, who you'll learn about soon, who actually is King Dingling at Odyssey now.
Okay.
But then they had him on, and they were doing a bit where I almost drove off the road in New Hampshire. I was in such pain. It was so funny, so funny. It's okay. So thanks. I hope you enjoy it. It's so great. In a sense, I'm jealous.
I know.
I'm
know.
missing a small.
Danny and Bill Ricca told me that too. He was like, "I'm jealous you
Yeah.
got to experience Kirk from the beginning for the first time."
Yeah, Alice just heard the one with Benditson.
I know.
This is very inside baseball.
No,
for-
I just was
for-
listening to Sue O'Connell actually, but yeah. Anyway,
It's fair to say this as well.
okay.
Alice this week made an exchange. Time usually spent doing her actual paying job has now been substituted
That's
with time
not
listening
true.
to the Manhattan.
That's not true. I can do both
Alice,
at once. It's an
I can do
audio
both at
product.
once.
It's an audio
Both at
product,
once.
and my job requires me to sit at a computer, so it's possible to do both things at
I'm
once.
not excoriating you. I have no problem.
Okay.
Oh,
Well,
Morgan Minto Madawaska. Yeah, I dread the idea of going way up into Maine, but I could go to the Portland thing, depending. Maybe I'll get an invite. I
think it's sold out.
Wait a second. I'm no more VIP than you are now. Just like the same way I'm going to get everybody gets a blue check now.
hmm
That it sucks. I was somebody when I had the blue check.
Well, we'll see
South
what happens
African.
to it. So, I mean, if we can leave your Kari Lake cuts for a second. So, I do want to go on a little bit of this tangent about the Twitter stuff, right?
Okay, go right ahead, my dear.
So, and we kind of missed doing shows on this because it happened in a timing where we weren't doing it, where Musk laid everybody off on Friday. So basically about 50% of the companies laid off, which is huge. They had to lock everybody out of all their accounts. Nobody was allowed to go into the office on Friday, so that nobody killed anybody at the office or anything, things like that.
I shouldn't be this happy about that, but I think if part of me feels like it couldn't happen to a better bunch of people.
But that jerk guy, the content moderation guy, is still there and tweeting about it. So I'm
They didn't whack
skeptical.
him.
I'm skeptical that much is actually going to change. But so this is really interesting to me because there was all this brouhaha. Our friend Ben Collins, who didn't like that people called him out for being a rich kid who's erased from the internet, right? He was all over talking about how disturbing this is and all these different things. They paid their employees out for 90 days.
Yeah.
At their, I'm sure, very generous salaries and all of that. But then I was reading a bunch of stuff about this. I mean, it does spark joy when all the Twitter people that are such jerks to everybody else get fired, that cheered on the killing of the Keystone Pipeline and cheered on coal miners losing their jobs, and everybody else, these blue check coastal elite jerks, when they lose their jobs. And I understand it's probably not the most Christian sentiment, but it does
Alice,
bring a little
it's
bit
hard
of happiness.
to feel bad for people who have a yoga room and stuff at
Right.
their work. So Silicon Valley people. Thomas says, my favorite KMS episode was when Dave was leaving instruction to Stephen, Kirk, and Mike made fun of him in such a creative way. You'll get to that soon.
Okay.
Steve, it's always important to. That was a great one.
Okay.
That was a great one.
So then and there has been a ton of this analysis about how mean it is that they're laying people off, and maybe there can be a class action lawsuit. I don't think they can because they're paying people a lot of money to be laid off. Whatever. There's been a ton of that, and it was sort of fresh on Friday. It's not really fresh anymore. But then I happened upon this thread from this guy, Angelo Carusano, or Carusone, sorry. Do you know who he is?
No.
He's the president and CEO of Media Matters for America.
Okay.
Hashtag Dump Trump organizer, formerly Stop Beck, onward, tweets are mine
Stop
alone.
Beck.
I don't even know what that is.
I assume that stopped Glenn Beck.
I don't know. Whatever.
What a life.
So, President and CEO of Media Matters for America tweeted this thread. So, listen to this. This is interesting to me. And I understand he's from Media Matters, so I'm not asking you to necessarily take what he's saying, but I thought this was interesting. There's some pretty substantial context about Twitter's 2023 revenue and advertisers that I think partly helps explain why Musk is really losing it. And it involves upfront ad sales. Let me explain. Twitter, like a lot of digital companies, participates in an event called New Fronts. So I looked this up. It's like this conference for digital advertising. At this event, they sell large chunks of ads for the following year. Typically, Twitter sells like $600 to $900 million in ads at New Fronts. That's guaranteed revenue for the following year. This year, they didn't sell much of anything. A coalition called Stop the Deal spent time educating and using media buyers and big advertisers at the event to ask Twitter some basic questions about the potential Musk takeover before giving him a guaranteed income for 2023. Media buyers did ask those questions. Twitter had zero answers or assurances. This is back in May, by the way, he mentions later in the thread. So at that point, it wasn't even clear that he would buy Twitter. So I don't understand how they would really have answers and assurances at that point in time. But anyway, backtrack. Media buyers did ask those questions. Twitter had zero answers or assurances. The presentation imploded and ended shockingly early. Twitter, from what I understand, basically sold almost nothing and locked in extremely little 2023 revenue. This means that instead of heading into 2023 with 15 to 20% of their 2023 revenue already secured, as they typically would have, Twitter heads into the year with almost none of that, all because Musk's red-pilled edgelord approach. Elon Musk has had months to address these concerns or even learn about them. Well, he only took over the company like last week, so. But instead, he's insisted on antagonizing the very businesses and people that sustain Twitter. Back in May, the groups and companies weren't calling for a boycott. They were asking basic questions. My point here is it's actually worse than that. I think a lot of people even appreciate, all because Musk's conduct and commitments to roll back brand safety and community safeguards essentially obliterated Twitter's New Front sales event that would have secured 2023 revenue.
How interesting.
So I looked at this and I went, that is really interesting. So, I mean, what questions jump out at you upon reading that thread? Just out of curiosity. What? You know, like, so I'm thinking like, okay, maybe there's something legitimate here. Did they go to a trade event and they acted weird and like companies didn't have certainty, so they didn't put forward money because they lacked certainty on certain basic things, right?
Well, but you'd still think they could secure some advertising because maybe for bargain basement prices, I don't know, or just for sheer impressions.
Right. So I'll take you back to tweet 3 of this thread. A coalition called Stop the Deal spent time educating and using media buyers and big advertisers at the event to ask Twitter some basic questions. So I go, that's interesting. Who the heck is Stop the Deal? Have you ever heard of Stop the Deal?
No.
So these are people who don't want Elon Musk to buy Twitter, obviously, because their group is called Stop the Deal. So then I pop over. They have a website, Stop the Deal. And you can go to their website, and it says, this is stopthedeal.com. It says, add your name. Sign on to our letter to Twitter's top advertisers. Blah, blah, blah. Elon Musk's takeover of Twitter. He's already spreading dangerous conspiracy theories, limiting staff access to blah, blah, blah. So you can sign, it's basically like a petition to companies that advertise at Twitter. By signing up, you are opting into emails from Accountable Tech. I'm like, okay, what's Accountable Tech? Stop the Deal is a project of many organizations fighting for a healthier information ecosystem. Here we go. Accountable Tech, which is an organization that, how do they describe themselves here? Social media giants are eroding our consensus reality and pushing democracy to the brink. That's Accountable Tech, whose emails you're going to get if you sign on to tell advertisers to, quote, ask basic questions. Right? That's part one. Okay. Who else is in Stop the Deal? Because it is a coalition, after all. Let's see. The Center for Countering Digital Hate, Fair Vote, Friends of the Earth, GLAD,
oh great,
Media Justice, MoveOn.org,
some really fun people,
Public Citizen, Some of Us, The Sparrow Project, Ultraviolet, and Media Matters for America.
Wow.
Actually, he's the people who was educating them and providing them with information. The gentleman who's tweeting the important context that he's reporting on of why Twitter didn't make the deal is part of the effort to attack companies. Back in May, we weren't trying to they weren't trying to boycott anything. We were just asking basic questions.
That's great.
What do you mean? So they've been and still are, because they're soliciting signatures right now to go to Twitter advertisers
can I ask you a
with.
question?
Yes.
Have you broken a story here?
I think I might have. I don't know if anybody else
You
has
should put it on
pointed
the
this
Substack.
fuck out. I know, I'm going to write a Substack, but that's what I'm saying. Like,
That's incredible.
I mean, isn't that amazing? So I'm reading through this thread, and then I just go look, and that's like what it is. I mean, can you believe he's tweeting? They were just asking basic questions about
That's
important industry assurances. And
Do you
Twitter
remember
now
the time
has
I tried to write an editorial and put me in it?
Yeah.
The one with the turkeys?
Yeah. How about your parking tickets? Didn't you write an editorial complaining about your parking tickets at one point?
Yeah.
I think the reporters gave you
yeah,
crap
that's
for
right.
that,
They
too.
were angry at me. But, I mean, that's at least honest. But, I don't want to. I shouldn't. It doesn't matter. Anyway, I wrote about.
He's bragging online about.
Is he disclosed? He
didn't say this anywhere in the thread. That he's his company, that he's the president
This is a news
and
item,
CEO
Alice. You need to
of.
write this up.
I know. That's why I'm telling you. I think this is going to be incredible. I'm going to write a Substack on it right after we finish here and post it and write a Twitter thread about it and everything.
That's remarkable. Dude, nice
He
job,
didn't
Alice.
disclose this, and he's personally part of the effort. He's
You
managed now. He's basically bragging without saying he's
Can
part of
you-
it about eliminating 50 to 20% of Twitter's revenue next year through activism, purely through
And you
activism.
need to tag Elon Musk in this, too.
Yeah.
He probably doesn't know. You need to screenshot these tweets while they're still up.
Yeah, I'm going
Because
to.
there could be. I wonder if there's anything illegal about this.
No, I don't think. I mean, it's Media Matters. It's not like it's like a real journalism organization or
Right.
something.
But, I mean.
But it's certainly incredibly. Morgan just called me Turtle Girl. Thanks, Morgan. I appreciate that. I mean, I don't know for sure that nobody else. It has 2,000 quote tweets. Is that? I mean, I don't see.
Well, make it your
maybe
own.
not.
Say exclusive.
I don't know.
Write exclusive. And then
but
if somebody
it's pretty
comes after
incredible.
you, then you can just get
well,
rid of it.
I mean, whatever. I'm going to post about it tonight. But I do think
And then
that
we're
is
gonna-
freaking incredible.
We're going to tell
Do
our
you not?
friends at the Main Wire about it, too.
Of course. Of course.
Yes.
I love it. Anyway.
Nice, Alice. It'll be my comeback Substack is great.
Yes. And then I'm going to start writing them more for you. And if you feel inspired, you can also contribute to your Substack. But this is going to be the comeback Substack. And then I'll add more to it.
Dude, you broke a story.
Well, I hope
This is
so. I don't know.
great.
Somebody else might have it, but nobody's commenting on it. The Media Matters and all these organizations are literally bragging about purposely damaging Twitter's ad revenue to destroy the company. And they're going after Elon Musk. Like, wow, they must really not want Elon Musk running that company. And believe me, I'm skeptical of Elon Musk. I'm not necessarily, I don't necessarily think he knows what he's doing at this moment in time. I think he's floating a lot of ideas out there. I think he was hoping to get out of the deal a couple months ago. I just think that I don't know what the future state of Twitter is, but I think that people need to understand that these efforts this guy is saying here that he's pretending it's like some organic thing.
So there are news stories out there saying that Media Matters is trying to screw with Musk because they're against him. But the news is that guy just made that tweet thread as if there's an organic story out there,
right,
which he's obviously
he's a part of. He's made the story. All because Musk's conduct and commitments to roll back brand safety and community safeguards essentially... No, that's not what obliterated Twitter's new front sales event. You did it. You made that happen. And if you want to make a case for why that's a good thing...
Is that the story you told me that was amazing earlier?
That's what I was just telling you. It was amazing. Yeah.
Before the show?
Yeah.
That's great, Alice. Jesus.
So, anyway, I think that's amazing.
Should we change the name of the Substack to reflect both of us?
No, it's fine. It's called Thoughts from the 42nd Parallel. That's
okay.
Fine. That's fine. Anyway.
Right, exclusive.
Okay.
We'll really get this out there. That's great. That's great. We're gonna tell Steve, Jerry, and Dave.
Okay, I'll work on it. I mean, Jerry's subscribed to the Substack and has previously commented on my writing on it and complimented me on it. So, anyway, so that's what we're going to be doing.
How exciting.
This evening. That is exciting. I think that's unbelievable and crazy. I think this guy is an a-hole for tweeting a thread like this and not saying in it exactly what part he played in all this. But it's like he couldn't resist. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
Because nobody noticed how all his hard work has destroyed Twitter. So he had to be like, a lot of important context people are missing here. For those of us who are in the know, Twitter's lack of a commitment to basic safety resulted in a loss of this ad revenue.
Exciting being at the forefront of a story. You two are Woodward and Burn Barrel. That's Thomas. Tom, you should have an auction to be there during the show and be your Colbert runner. Oh, I like that. While trying not to trip over all the wires in the studio, crash, bang, thump. Yeah. Don't call it a comeback. Substack.
Okay. Yeah. Well, we all know.
Cool
we
Alice.
all know how Tom's been doing with his Substack, where he's in big trouble.
What do you mean, Tom been doing?
Mm-hmm.
It's not just me. You realize that my workflow changed once I started the Substack.
True. Okay.
Alice, do you know who LL Cool J is?
I've heard of him. Yes.
I'm gonna knock you out. Mama said knock you out.
I don't know that.
Okay.
Yeah, but okay.
Alice doesn't have that. Sorry.
Sorry.
Okay. Well, should I get to Kari Lake now? Although she can't really compete.
Well, that's why I was pushing you off Kari Lake, because I wanted to get to this in the main show and not in the Patreon only show, because I think this was important. You know what? You can do that now. I do have another piece, but we could possibly put that in the Patreon show. We can do Kari Lake now if you'd like.
No, I was going to ask you when you became the boss of me exactly.
Sorry.
When are you switching our platform?
I'm in
Where
progress.
Are our kids?
They're doing stuff.
Oh, okay. It's not really a where answer, is it? They're doing stuff.
Okay.
Turning tricks, selling crack. They're doing stuff.
True. Wait. Okay. So, anyway, would you like to do Kari Lake? What do you want me to say? What do you want me to say? One of us is breaking news over here.
I know. So, I just wanted to...
I'm working on changing the platform. I could do it right now, but I'm having some technical difficulties getting all our back episodes that don't show up in the RSS feed onto the new thing. So, because normally they transfer them, and I don't want them to, show up as new episodes or something, so...
If anybody out there... Oh, so you want to do a Patreon... The only problem with doing a Patreon episode after is, of course, my computer has no memory, so I have to restart it 43 times and save the thing and do it. Someday we'll have nice things.
Yes, someday we will. Okay.
You know what would be nice with the new platform would be some advertising. That would be nice.
This platform that I'm switching to does offer advertising.
Alice, there are podcasts with 7 listeners. that have advertising.
I actually was hearing Bob Stefanowski ads on Menners' podcast, believe it or not. They're targeted to me as someone deeply invested in Connecticut politics. So when I listen to the Minifandom show from Australia with Menners, I'm hearing ads
Do you
about
think anybody from Connecticut listens to Tom Shattuck? That's incredible. Crikey! He's got a $10,000 check from who the hell is Bob Stefanowski? Oi!
I'm not
It's
sure that's
Timmy
quite
Wallaby
Menners. I'm not
time.
sure that's quite
Oh,
Menners'
I wonder if
voice.
how he'd feel about Timmy Wallaby.
We should dig those up. Do you have those on this computer?
I probably do. Somewhere.
I think we did.
Okay. It's really we should have started with Kari Lake because it's not as good as. I just wanted to get to some things about her that I think are remarkable. She's an alpha. I just invented this observation about her. She's telegenic. Do you know that?
Mm-hmm.
You're thinking about the Substack. Are you gone? Are you with this or not?
She's telegenic.
Alice does a couple of things. One, today she started giving a speech in part of the house. What was that for, that speech?
I don't know. I give myself lots of speeches. I talk to myself a lot.
Yeah, when then in the shower, especially if Alice is going to go, if she's going to go like talk to the town meeting or city council or whatever, then she will in the shower. What did he say? What did he say?
He said the wrapping paper is alive.
Is he sniffing glue, Alice?
Actually not. It actually is.
It's alive?
Funny.
It's not funny.
Okay.
The wrapping paper is alive. I believe you.
Okay, stay away from it for now, just in
We'll
case.
talk about it later. What else is alive? Okay. It's our other son's birthday.
Yes,
Anson
it's
is
a
7.
birthday, so we have some wrapping paper going on.
As a matter of fact, guess what year I was 7 in Alice?
1980.
That's right. You know where I was that summer that year?
With Chris Shula.
It's right. After Buckingham Brown and Nichols, I get off at Chisholm Road, take a left on Ware Road. There's Chris Shula's house. There's actually, I can't say it. I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want to get in trouble. I also don't want to get.
Julie and Phil tell me talking to yourself is a sign of great intelligence. So there you go.
Well, Alice
See?
does that. She gives an entire oratory sometimes.
My
in the
grandmother
shower.
also used to
And furthermore.
My grandmother was also a child development psychologist, and she always told my parents that having imaginary friends was also a sign of intelligence.
As they looked out the window, tear rolling down their eyes when you were with your stuffed animals on the picnic table, day after day after day. Okay,
That's enough of that. Thank
Cyril,
you.
can you go play with the wrapping paper, please? All right, Kari Lake, most anticlimactic possible thing I can talk about. I just found pictures of her having an affair. Ha! Exclusives. Kari Lake, so she is doing very well in Arizona. She's one of these candidates who was very Trumpy, and people said that she had no chance. She's come off as this tour de force. She's got so much confidence. She eats the press up with absolute pleasure. She's the biggest alpha in any room she's in. She's unapologetically Trumpy. She's unapologetically. This is what I want to play for you. Just a couple of cuts. By the way, I scraped all these off of the Barry Weiss podcast today because I was listening to them, just in case they seem familiar.
Hello, everyone. Trump Republicans, are you out there? Woo!
Hello, everyone. Trump Republicans,
In my room.
are you out there? Now, Arizona Republicans are split between Trump Republicans and McCain Republicans, and that's a gutsy thing to say. You're going to exile people in Arizona, and including suburban women, which she's managed to do. You're going to exile people by saying Trump Republicans, are you out there, with aplomb, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the fact that you do it and you stand for something, people are naturally drawn to somebody who stands for something, even if it's something they don't agree with.
Yeah.
If you're standing, can you F off, please?
Okay, can you go take this somewhere else, please? Where'd you put my phone that you just had in your hand? Can you go take it somewhere else?
Yeah, and your goldfish
Where's your goldfish? Can you
They're
take
over
them
here.
out? Do we need to call another kid?
Sally, Can you escort your brother out of here, please?
He just had my phone a second ago. He can use that, but it has to be plugged in my room because he's.
The little one.
Okay, take it.
Cyril, she'll get you.
Take it
She'll
with
put
you.
on the
She'll help you.
Unforgiven for you
She'll
again.
help you put that on. Yeah, we showed our kids selections from Unforgiven last night.
Yes.
Fast forwarded through some parts.
We've called in the guard here to extract the
Okay.
perpetrator.
Take your goldfish. See ya.
See you, Cyril. See you later. Nice. Good job, Sally. Good job.
All
There
right.
you go.
Okay.
So once again,
Hello, everyone. Trump Republicans, are you out there? Woo!
the fact that she does it unapologetically is excellent. And she also says stuff that a lot of people in polite company would be afraid to hear.
The America First movement is alive and well, and you know what? It is the only way out of the mess we're in right now.
A lot of people will immediately say, oh, racist, fascist, authoritarian, America first, oh my God, that's xenophobic, etc., etc. She says it proudly. Does not care. Says it with authority. You wonder, for somebody who was in the media, like, hung in those circles, like, where did she, who influenced her? But it doesn't matter. Oh, you know what? I wonder if Doug Meehan knew her. I'll ask.
You know, in my time covering Arizona, 27 years, I never saw things as good as they were when we had President Trump at the helm. We had a secure border, strong economy, and safe streets.
What do you think Trump feels about this telegenic person praising him for being...
I think he's a fan.
I think he's a fan, too. And here's another thing she says, some more about the border, that a lot of people in Arizona are afraid to say, because there's a lot of Hispanics in Arizona, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
You know, one of the things against Sheriff Joe was that they said because he had so many prisoners who were so Hispanic that he was a big racist and this and that. Joe Arpaio.
And I have a message right now to the people flooding across our border. When I am governor, you will be arrested and sent back across the border.
That right there, you got a tough chick talking about border security who's good looking. Doesn't take much more to make Republican men. They are locked in. That is over. And I hope she wins. So,
I do find it, and I mentioned this to you in the lead up as we were getting ready to stream. I do find it kind of pathetic that they're going like, she's so like telegenic. That's why we're losing. She's very telegenic. That it's like,
well, her opponent's kind of pretty as well, but she's telegenic. In other words, TV works great with her.
right.
She just looks, and it's because she's from TV. And
But it could also be partially the Democrats' ideas suck.
Democrats' ideas suck, but the package of her is incredibly good. She's very talented. She's also, she's got, did I tell you whose voice she has? We already talk about this?
No, whose voice?
Winchester High School class of 1990.
There we go.
The great Kathy Green. Gorgeous Kathy Green from Winchester. Oh yeah, I did say this to somebody.
Not to me.
Well, when I say we, I mean Jimmy had a house party. Kathy fell and cracked her head open, and everybody was like, everybody was melodramatic. Oh my God, she's gonna go into shock. Stay awake, Kathy. It was like, because we were all 16 and 17. Once again, I was barely invited to this party that was held at my own house by my brother. I wasn't invited. As a matter of fact. But Kathy was great, and she had a voice like that. She had a deep, gorgeous voice. Kathy was one of the only few girls, and she didn't have too many girl friends. Girls didn't love Kathy, because Kathy was a truth speaker. I remember at that party, before she took a digger and had to get stitches, her saying to me, Tom, you're overweight. If you're overweight, girls aren't going to like you. You're not going to feel good about yourself. And nobody's going to, pretty women will never respect you, never like you. You need to lose some weight. And I remember her saying that, and me, first of all, none of it hurt my feelings at the time. And I was like, in high school, like 20 pounds overweight, who knows what it was. But it feels, that was when you're, but but to have, first of all, it was a beautiful girl talking to me, so she could have said anything. Tom self-immolate, and I just would have taken the gas tank and just poured it over myself. But she was right. It was so good to hear that somebody say the truth. And the next year, I actually went camping for 2 weeks with somebody.
I'm getting requests in the chat for you to land the plane.
I
here.
went camping for 2 weeks with my friend Ted, who I did mushrooms with later on. And during those 2 weeks camping, I lost a whole bunch of weight, and I then was thin. I finished out high school thin, not fat. There you go. Okay? There's
Good
plain
story.
as land.
Everyone loves that. Okay.
Ted's the guy who I found a gun with, as a matter of fact, driving across the country. It's a good story. Sorry, Alice. It's not about Elon Musk and Media Matters, okay?
Okay.
I found a gun, okay? What have you done, Alice, in your life that's as exciting as driving across the country in Texas, having a car, the engine crack, being on the side of the road? As I'm walking around the side of the road looking for scorpions, I find a revolver.
Wow.
Oh, I'm sorry, Alice. It wasn't the Lexington girls swim team or you being...
Well, am I telling stories about that
you were
on
being
here right now?
invited in on Zuckerberg's yacht when you were in college because you had a killer body and were accommodating.
Stop it. Stop it. Should we do the chat and then go to Patreon?
I guess so. There was a time when I was the titular head of this podcast. And No,
Well,
I have
then
one more Kari Lake thing.
Okay, fine. Okay.
This is it.
Then okay.
Listen to this. This is the brilliance of Kari Lake.
Okay.
I want you to hear. This is her talking about the bad ideas of the Democrats, the Democratic opponents. Phrasing in this is the best, most brilliant phrasing I've heard in any line on any stump speech in the past 5 years.
These guys are just full of terrible ideas. Let me list a few of them. It's terrible. Defunding our police. How do they come up with this stuff? Open borders, censorship, racist
Now
curriculum,
listen to this last one.
masking our beautiful children. I can't take that one. That one just puts me under.
Masking our beautiful children. What a great way to say it. What a great way to say it. If you're any parent, first of all, she's just called your kid beautiful. And you, if you're any parent, suburban housewife, you're thinking...
You think your kid is
Yeah,
beautiful.
you're like, wow, that's right. She's right. My child is beautiful. Thank you, Kari. But what a great thing to say. Throwing a mask on our beautiful children. It's also, if she says it so eloquently, and it's like it's poignant when you think about that. We covered up the beauty of our kids, their appearance.
Yeah.
Like, why would we do that? But also, listen to this. I want you to listen to everything she says. It's also could very easily, but she delivers it with eloquence, and she's a lovely speaker. All of this could be Donald Trump speaking.
These guys are just full of terrible ideas. Let me list a few of them. It's terrible. Defunding our police.
Terrible.
How do they come up with this stuff? Open borders, censorship, racist curriculum, masking our beautiful children.
Masking our beautiful children. Can't you see her Trump saying that? You're so fucking self-absorbed. Oh my
What?
God.
I'm not
Oh my God,
self-absorbed.
forget it. I'm alone anyway.
You're
All right, there's a
not
big
alone.
chat here anyway.
Okay, good. Let's hear the chat. And I have stuff for the Patreon show, too. You know what? If you want to be the titular head of the show, maybe you should bring more to the table.
You the Elon Musk of this podcast? Bring more to the table.
Okay.
Holy crap. I gave you Justine Bateman. I gave you Jason Bateman.
Yep.
I gave you Darianne.
I gave you Jason Bateman, actually.
No, I gave you Jason Bateman.
I gave you the Jason Bateman story that
You
allowed
didn't
you to
live.
talk about all that.
I was 1 degree of
You-
separation from Jason Bateman.
No one
He
would
lived
know
in Winchester, Massachusetts.
if I didn't find you that
By the way, that
story and that
dickhead
podcast
Minahan-
audio.
Where's Kirk?
If I didn't find you that story and that podcast audio, you wouldn't have been able to tell your story about Justine
I
Bateman and
intended
your
to
whole.
tell it anyway.
You were gonna tell it anyway. Oh
Yes.
God.
Hold on. Let me say
Let's hear
it's too cool. I actually told this to Minahan.
What did you tell to Minahan?
Thursday, May 12th.
Okay.
Tom Shattuck message to Kirk Seamus Minahan.
Okay, go ahead.
FYI, Justine and Jason Bateman lived in Winchester for a short time in the early 80s. Kirk responded, "Is that true?" I said, "Yes, used to babysit for the Shulas, Chris and Natalie. I think Natalie was around your age.
Is that
They-
when Kirk stopped responding to your messages? Or
They
no?
lived around Leonard's Field, I think. And that was the last I heard from him. Yes, correct. I haven't heard from him since May.
Were you hoping he was going to ask if you by
Wow,
chance...
that's really interesting,
do
Tom.
you by chance have a link to any kind of podcast where I could hear this expounded upon in more detail? Possibly?
All right. Listen.
Okay, go ahead. Play the chat.
I wonder why you think you're cool. What is going on with you? Oh, it's because you look good, because your body's killer now because of Wikipedia, and because you broke the story, and you were on the Minahan show. You still don't have a blue check. I still have that over you. And you're not getting one. You're not spending $8.
Long. Not for long.
You're not getting one.
I'm spending $8 on mine, and I'm not signing up for yours.
None of you are getting a freaking blue check. Dare you. It's yes. Unless some audio, some vocals come out here, and I'm going to have to move along.
We may be coming to the end of how much of this
system.
Oh, here we go.
This is a message from the emergency broadcast system. The President of the United States wishes to notify every American to wipe their backside after they've used the bathroom. If this were a real emergency, nuclear missiles from Russia would be crashing down before the end of this message. We thank you for your attention to the emergency broadcast system. Now back to your regularly scheduled programming.
Well done, Dr. Cheswick. Did you realize that ICBMs, Russian ICBMs, actually don't hit the ground?
What do they explode over?
Over?
It's not me. It's in your daughter's room. She's watching a sitcom again.
Yeah, they explode over.
Oh, okay.
Do you know that?
Hmm?
Well, be aware. Don't expect it to hit. It's
okay. I'll notice that. Go ahead.
Are you hot enough to be ordering me around? Probably you are. Kathy Green could order me around. Look at that.
More random names. Let's go. Hulk Hogan, Randy Savage, Goldust.
Actually saw Hulk Hogan fight at Boston Garden and Randy Savage. I saw him win the Intercontinental Championship against Tito Santana there.
Mm-hmm.
I saw the foreign object. I was there up in the nosebleeds. So Tito was about to be Savage was about to be suplexed, and I saw him reach into his waistband. I saw the foreign object right there.
Goldberg, The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Ric Flair.
Ric Flair was in the NWA, and I only watched WWF at the time. Wasn't a great look, actually. It was for me. It's the years we should forget about.
Is that the mullet years?
That was trying to get a mullet. It was a time. There was a time in when I was 13 and 14 where I was indescribable. It was where my.
Do we know yet, by the way, if you're doing No Shave November or not?
Well, it's funny. I haven't shaved yet. Last I heard was from my. I'm the only one not shaving, I think. Last I heard was from my program doctor who said, "We're doing No Shave November, right?" And I said to everybody 3 months ago, I said yes. I then followed up with her. 3 days ago and said, "Are we not supposed to be shaving for No Shave in November? Because I haven't shaved." She said, "I'll get back to you." 3 days ago.
Well, let's see how long we can go into November before we find out if you're doing No Shave November or not.
This is from Nick. This is 2 minutes and 44 seconds.
Okay, make it good, Nick.
Hello, Tom and Alice. This is Nick from Connecticut.
Hi, Nick.
I have a serious question.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Let me break it down to I went to work the other morning, and there's said person that comes in late every single day.
Mm-hmm.
And said person showed up 5 minutes late for our morning meeting and said that they identify as somebody who shows up late to work every day.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like a play on how
Right.
anybody can identify as anything.
I already don't like this person. I get you, Nick.
Now, my question to you is, as parents, I am a parent of 3 from my ex-wife, and I have a 17, almost 18-year-old daughter who is brilliant, smart, funny, and gorgeous. She is actually a model. And she decided that she is going to date a black gentleman who is also smart, not beautiful, but very, very smart.
Okay.
And they're a good mix. And I have 2 younger boys, oldest of which plays video games all day long.
All right, Alice, let's track where we are so far.
Yeah.
So Nick has a 17-year-old daughter. 17, he said?
Mm-hmm.
She's a model. She's beautiful. She's going to be dating or is dating a
Is
black
dating a really smart black guy.
guy. Okay. And he said he's a good guy or smart guy.
Yep.
Okay.
Kid 2 plays video games all day. Okay, that's where we are. And somebody at his work shows up late every day.
Are you still against interracial relationships or no?
Don't say that. I've never been against
okay.
interracial relationships.
Oh, right.
Stop it.
Okay.
Don't. You shouldn't say stuff like that.
Take you down a notch.
That's not true.
She's not. She's not. I'm just kidding, Alice. It's
not true.
Okay. She's not. You actually dated an Asian guy, did you not?
I don't think that's true.
Oh, it was vetoed by somebody. Didn't you go to the prom? Whatever.
I was invited to the prom with the president of the Science Olympiad. But my dad wouldn't let me because he was Asian.
It's funny. I don't know what the lead is in that story. Biggest effing nerds find each other in big, bold print. Or racist dad stops prom date. Jesus.
Does not want anything to do with nobody. I barely see him because he added that she is going to date a black gentleman who is also smart, not beautiful, but very, very smart.
Okay.
And they're a good mix.
Okay.
And I have 2 younger boys, oldest of which plays video games all day long, does not want anything to do with nobody.
All right.
I barely see him because he'd rather play his games. And
I think we almost have one of those, or maybe.
We're working on it.
Yeah, we lose ours for hours a day.
he wants to be a gamer or whatever. So
that's not uncommon these days. Kids want to be YouTubers or gamers or do games.
That's neither here nor there.
What, is Nick me?
How many minutes?
Wait a second. So we haven't started the call yet. We're a minute into it. Nothing's neither here nor there yet.
Tom, you don't have to disguise your voice and call yourself Nick when you want to tell stories.
If a Bateman shows up on this phone call.
My youngest son is cute. You know, the girls all love him. He's got pink and blue hair, and he wants to be a marine biologist to the point where he has 20 aquariums. I've counted them now with various different freshwater and saltwater species of fish and whatnot. And I'm proud of him for that.
Nick, move near the ocean so that you can get rid of some of these aquariums.
I like
20 aquariums.
Cool. The kid is interested in science and is really he's living
I assume
a dream.
every aquarium takes a filter and takes a heater and takes a
probably
knows how much.
Okay, go ahead.
But my question to you is,
I'm working with a lot here.
Are we ready?
Let me just say something, Nick. Considering all the factors so far, at least I am highly unqualified for any answers so far. If it's about math, Alice can certainly accommodate you, as we can be witness because she caught the eye of the biggest math geek in our high school.
With all the gender stuff going on, do you kind of push it on your children one way or another?
Yes.
To make sure that they don't get entangled in that? Or
yes, we do.
Nick!
What, was that it?
It went away.
It went away, as in, like, you lost.
And I'm proud of him for that. But my question to you is, with all the gender stuff going on, do you kind of push it on your children one way or another to make sure that they don't get entangled in that? Or
Yep,
it goes away.
Okay, well, I will answer the question. Yes, we do push our kids one way, not the other. And I mean, that's because I think that you cannot fight this stuff by pretending it doesn't fully exist. I mean, obviously we do.
Wait a second. Well, hold on 1 second. What the hell did the first 2 minutes of this phone call have to do with the last?
Because he was saying the identify as thing.
Who he was?
Because the person who comes in late said, I identify as somebody who shows up late.
Why did I find out?
Maybe it was going to tie back together more,
Oh,
but
maybe-
it got cut off.
Nick,
Maybe
we need the
don't-
missing seconds of this.
But I'm going to answer the question
We went
that I
into
heard.
racial studies here. We went into marine biology. We went into the gaming revolution and all sorts of. I don't know what happened.
Okay.
I don't know
Well,
what.
anyway, I'm going to answer the question that I did here, which is I absolutely do
Yes.
explain to our kids about the gender stuff that they will hear in school and that it is not true. Right? Because I think that if that's the first time they hear it is from somebody else and they think like, oh, my parents just didn't hear about this or something, that it does create a sense that like you're being imparted new knowledge that like your parents haven't heard of. So if we present it to them in an age appropriate and serious way, in a way where we can provide the context and our opinions on it and a full set of facts and not these activists who go into schools and teach kids this stuff, that they'll be better prepared to see it when it does come up, because I know that it eventually will. And I've had the conversation with them in a way that's like, certainly we're always kind to people, we're always nice to people, but boys can't become girls and vice versa. Like, that's just not a thing that happens, but that's not something that you should probably bring up and start any trouble with at school. I'm just saying. So that's where we've landed on that. But I do try to, provide some information around that before they're exposed to it for the first time somewhere else.
Our kids, both of them will throw on a dress here and there.
I think that's normal for like little kids playing dress up, just out of the dress up
on
box.
or else or whatever, and do this whatever. But we don't make them take it off. But they don't. It's just like they're playing role playing games. But if they, if they say something like the girls wear dresses or the boys wear dresses too, generally I think we'd probably say that girls wear dresses, boys wear other stuff.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah, it's not that we're not playing these horse shit games. Sorry, it's interesting. Nick's call was maybe a brilliant call, because when he got to, I have 3 kids under my ex-wife. Then I'm thinking, okay, it's an ex-wife. This bitch is coming back somehow. This is it's about her. Here we go.
There's a lot of information there.
We never revisited her. She was gone, and then the interracial relationship.
Well, you forget we started at work, actually.
Yes, the late person.
Yes.
Wait a second. Whatever happened to that? Nick. It's supposed to be how Minahan felt when I was on his show. What happened? So let's hit these things once. Let's hit all of them, okay?
Okay.
The late person who's late and says I identify as being on time is an a-hole.
Okay.
And not funny.
Okay.
The interrelational relationship
We're
is...
4.
Yeah, anybody who's going to treat your... My daughter has only one criteria for...
Well, so I thought the next
Alice,
part of the story...
hold on.
Okay.
What's the one criteria I've told Sally Shattuck? Sally! Come here. One criteria.
Okay.
What is the only... Come here. What is the only thing I tell you that's important when it comes to you getting married?
Money.
Correct. Does the person have to be a good person?
No.
Just has to have money?
Yeah.
Correct. Good girl. Thank you.
Can I go?
Yes, you can go.
Okay, thank you.
That's right. So I don't... race has nothing to do with whatever. But probably for you, Nick, you're probably a decent person. Anybody who's going to treat your daughter well, of course. Come on. By the way, let's all have intermarry between races here, so we can move on to having a problem with each other over something else other than skin color. It's old. I'm sick of it. So the fish tanks. That's a lot of fish tanks, but kids into it, then that's fine. As far as the video game player, that's a whole generation of kids are video game players and YouTube watchers and this and that. My only worry about that, Nick, and I've got it with my own kids, especially with boys, is I want them to have wanderlust. I want them to want to be out of this house. I want them to be jumping in an old van or something, not driven by a stranger playing clown music, but I want them to I want them to be 18 and want to get the frig out and travel across the country, travel across Europe. I want them to do that. I don't want them to think that their mind to be just only go as far as the screen that they're in. I don't think that's good. I look at the immediate years that after high school for me, where I didn't go to college, I traveled for like a year or whatever, effed around, And in my time, even underachieving out there in crappy jobs, but living alone as a young man, as a 20-year-old and 21-year-old, I think I learned so much in those years that it's irreplaceable.
Yeah.
And so I'm all for that. What was his last concern? Oh yeah, the trans stuff. Yeah, we already talked about that. Okay. Here we go. Sorry, Alice. Sorry to disappoint. I'm trying to be a good producer for you. I promise, Alice.
Hi, Habibis.
Hey.
It's Leslie.
Hey, Leslie.
I'm breaking my embargo on calling into Chat to congratulate
Thank you.
my friend Alice on a phenomenal.
Oh, hold on. Well, I didn't know there was an embargo. Did you know?
Well, because you yelled at her last messages.
I did? Why?
Yeah, because she left. You were, I forget. They
No,
were longer, and she told a story, and you had some problem. I don't remember what your problem
That's right.
was.
Well, Nick
but
just blew her
she-
time away.
She was, she felt that her talents were not appreciated properly by the burn barrel and the chat. So
Oh. So we were in a fight, unbeknownst to me.
it's like you and Jared Kravitz.
Well, that one's valid.
Appearance on the Kirk Minahan
There we
show.
go.
Thank
I
you.
just caught up with that yesterday and today, and you did a fantastic job.
By the way, I have many more listeners than he does, Alice.
So we really gave him a
Connecticut.
boost, I think.
In Connecticut, Tom
Mhm.
Shattuck has more listeners than Kirk does on KMS. That is a fact. It's a 50,000 watt station, Alice. It's not the most juvenile audience, but it's a big audience.
Yeah, you have a big audience.
It's Clear Channel.
Good job.
You traitorous itchbait. Oh, I'm sorry, Leslie. I know you don't want me to call Alice names. We're just joking. Okay? It's fine. But you are a traitor. My God. It doesn't take much.
Leslie's
You're a
my
snake.
friend.
You're a snake like Cullinane.
Leslie is my friend. Thank you, Leslie. I appreciate you calling in to me, and I appreciate your kind words about my KMS appearance. Thank you.
Sister, marginally better than Tom, but only marginally because
This is a personal thing with her. There's no way you were better than me and Kirk. There's no way. No, just no. Come on. The plain story alone.
he did a great job.
But we did watch it a couple days ago again. We were watching.
Did we?
Well, I was entranced by
Yourself.
the disastrous like appearance.
To fill in the story, Tom rebuffed my advances so that he could watch himself on KMS for approximately the 32nd time. Is that an accurate description of what happened the other night?
Yeah, but that's on you to improve your advances. You know, there's me. What I was the screen. You know,
Okay.
you need to work on that. You'll get there.
Okay.
You'll get there.
Job as well. One thing I want you to mention about that show is that the call-in segment was garbage. And I don't listen to that
Disagreed.
show very often.
Disagreed.
And I don't know if that call-in segment was representative, but I think even Kirk and Dave thought that they didn't know what the hell was going on. Like it was a bad moon. I almost fell asleep during the call-ins. And I
Oh.
don't know if Alice's glorious presence.
Alice, defend your little show now. Go ahead, Alice.
I like the call.
Pick one.
I talked to Leslie about
Pick
this.
Leslie or pick Kirk.
I
So,
talked
what
to
was-
Leslie
how
about
was
this,
the call-in
and
part
I
of the
thought
show?
it was funny.
Is that what you told Leslie?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I did. But she also, at the same time, when I talked to her about it, complimented the chat and said that it makes the chat look like it deserves an Emmy. So,
Threw everybody off or intimidated all the callers. But I mentioned to Alice earlier today that if that's the level of the call-in segment on the Kirk Minahan show, the chat deserves an Emmy award.
Thank you.
Thank
Love
you.
you. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, Leslie, for the compliments. I mean, I didn't think the Colin segment was bad, but I don't know. She's not a fan of that show. She's not gonna like their Colin segment. It's very inside baseball. I don't get half the stuff that happens in the Colin segment.
One Timothy in Kenton.
Okay.
Good
Featured
Lord.
in the
It
call-in
took
segment.
less time for Tom's herpes to go away than it did for him to tell that Justine Bateman babysitter of some whiny Winchester brat story. Oh, my God. Still liked it, though.
Of course. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Tim. It's not a whiny. The thing about the Shulas, Mrs. Shula was lovely. Mr. Shula was a great and fun guy. Tony Shula. Chris Shula was a good kid, a nice guy, nice kid. And Natalie Shula was the little sister. Actually, we watched WrestleMania on pay-per-view at the Shula's house. She was a good kid. They were excellent. They were excellent people. Excellent people. Nothing bad to say about them whatsoever. Nothing bad to say about them whatsoever. And nobody in Winchester was mobbed up whatsoever. So that's fine. Ready?
Thank you so much for listening. If you are streaming on Patreon, stay there. We'll do our Patreon segment next. I do have more stuff to get to that I want to talk about today. You can find our Patreon shows and live streams at patreon.com/burnbarrel. You can also always find all the show for free Sunday through Thursday nights at burnbarrelpodcast.com. There's links to all the places to listen on YouTube, on Rumble, wherever you like to listen to podcasts.
C'est la vie.